forewarning, all of my videos have been marked for adults only. However, these images can be quite explicit to some people, and if it isn't something, or if that sort of thing is not something that you're prepared to see, please click away before I start. So I'm gonna take a sip of my morning coffee while you do that. I don't know how I'm going to start my day without coffee. So if you're still here, I'm going to take that as an implicit agreement of what you're about to see. Right. So if you remember, the version that I showed you before has the back that doesn't look like that. I believe from my limited research and understanding and knowledge of this deck, the Iona Tarot, which was published in 1999, you can find a lot more information on the now inactive Eclectic Tarot Forum. They still have a lot of information in archive form over there. So that's the back. However, in the other version that I showed you, they have used the image of the sun as the back of the cards because, as you can see, it is a lot more dramatic and it's a lot more attractive. So that's the first difference. The second difference is, and I've entitled that other video an inaccurate reproduction. So I made it explicit that what I showed you there was not very accurate. And this is really the main reason, or the reason why, is the hand of the Magus, the hand of the Magus, however you pronounce that, or the Magician. As you can see, no number, no names, no titles. So any names I call the cards are going to be my own for the sake of ease of referencing. So the hand was placed on here like that, or around the hip here. And I think there is no reason for it. I think it's arbitrary because I think that is the only empty space on this card that they can find that can fit that image. It sort of looks as if it sticks out of the Magus's or the Magus's right hip, and it really bothered me, especially when I know that in the original the hand was printed on a separate smaller card like that. So all the cards are this big, and then there's a tiny card that shows the hand. To me, that shows great intentionality, as in the intent must be very specific for that hand to exist on a separate, smaller card. Or maybe, I'm not sure. Again, if any of you know a bit more about this, let me know down below. Perhaps she just thought, well, there's not enough space here, and she wants to show, or she imagined the hand of the Magus reaching beyond the frame, and she thought, why not show it? Whatever it may be, for me, the impact is profound. The implication is profound when the hand is separated like that, because to me, the Magus, number one, the Fool being unnumbered, sometimes appearing at the front, sometimes appearing at the end of the arrays of mysteries, of the 22 mysteries, or 21 if you don't count the Fool itself, if you think of the Fool as floating beyond, above, and separate from the others. Like the aces in each suit, which contained the whole of the suit, like a seed containing the whole of the plant, the tree, the leaves, the fruit itself, the roots, the branches, the trunks, the wood. And when you plant it, it becomes a whole tree. And then within that whole tree contain the seeds as well. And then on it goes in a round and round cycle of life. The Magus to me is that, the seed, the pot within which everything, all the mysteries contained in the Marguerite Peterson Tarot, the Magician, the Magus, the Magus number one, I think tells a story of self-actualization. And for me, and for some of you who approach things on one level or another, in part or as a whole, if you have a psychological take as well as a spiritual one or a magical one about the images of tarot, about the mysteries that's paraded before us in the arcanas, you would understand or can appreciate the aspect of self-actualization in a seed which contain the whole plant, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. And so why do I feel the need to get into all that? It's because the hand reaches beyond the cards. And to me, it's like when the seed started bursting with a little bit of the initial plant. What do you call them? I suddenly escaped me in English. In Indonesian, we call them tunas, Tunas. That little seedling, that little plant that sticks out of a seed just when it's about to burst into a whole plant, before it even penetrate the ground, before it even penetrate the underground into the world above ground. And so it means that if I shuffle this whole set and this popped up somewhere else or next to another card, either on the left or on the right, you can only imagine the implication of such arrays and sequences of images if the hand of the Magus can pop alongside other images. So I'm going to leave it at that, because in the original, as I mentioned, the card is small. It means that the owner, obviously, the creator, the artist who create the deck, who create Iona Tarot, didn't intend for the hand to be shuffled together with the rest of the cards. Do you know what I mean? So if any of you know a bit more about it, please comment down below. I'll try to put some links in the description section under this video, and I'll link that other set of copies up here or at the end of this video. So I will, for the moment, just show you the cards again, which everything else is exactly the same. So that's the Fool, Magus, the hand of the Magus. This is the High Priestess, or in some cards, the Popess, number 2. Number 3, the Empress. Number 4, the Emperor. And number 5, High Priest or Hierophant, the Key Holder, Gatekeeper. 6, the Lovers. And some cards, the Lover. But this is definitely Lovers. It's yin and yang. That's how I take it. The start of alchemy. 7, I think this is Chariot. I have never memorized the numbers of the arcana, so pardon me. This is Justice. 8, 9, the Hermit. 10, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Time. 'Sort of reminds me of Underworld and Above World and Persephone and all that. And I'm not quite sure if that's the case, but you see some sort of clock in the mouth there. And some sort of figure under here, and some sort of figure above ground and underground. So fortitude, strength. There's this woman breaking the column, and then there's also the lion underneath here with tongue of fire. Hanged One. 12, 13, death, often unnamed, unnumbered in a lot of sets of tarot cards. Taroki. 14, alchemy, blood, milk, red, white. The devil, I think 14. The tower, I think 15. Star, moon, can see the chalice and the moon cycle and the blood there, and the sort of reminiscence of the ovaries, the ovum, the uterus. At least that's how I see it. The flow of river, the flow of blood, etc. The sun, which look like sperms heading towards. Either way, it's all signs of life, isn't it? And then resurrection or awakening. That sharp, that ripping of one world into another. And you can imagine the birth canal, perhaps. I mean, you could just go into it. And then this is the world, finally. And you could see the kind of art here is the sort that you will sit with maybe for a month. I sat with one card, The Lovers, from the Tarot of Delphi, which used the painting of Cupid, the marriage of Cupid and Psyche. I worked with that for a year, and I can highly recommend sitting with one card for a month or for a year, because it stays with you. And anyway, that's a topic for a different video. So this is the Iona Tarot. I believe this is a more accurate reproduction, and my strong feeling about it is not only in terms of accuracy, but also in terms of the impact of how the separate right hand of the Magus, and in my mind I could hear the right hand of the Father, and that's where my Catholic upbringing came in, I suppose. The right hand of the Magus, the right hand of what I see as the seed, as the pod that contains everything, all of the other mystery that's just waiting to burst, like self-actualization. Everything that's going to happen already happened within this one pod, and that hand sort of reaching out of it feels like the first break of that pod into realization. But that's just me. So that's the version that I personally feel should be the only version. But it all really depends on what you use these images for, because if you use it in a particular way, this wouldn't matter, because when the image of the Magus turn up, it doesn't really matter where the hands are, because you would have allocated a meaning to the magician, and this would just float around without purpose. And in such a reading, it really doesn't matter which version you have, because I'm thinking an extra hand would be redundant in that particular approach to tarot. I don't know. Yeah, so thank you very much. And if you have any thoughts, feel free to comment down below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.